Hello and welcome. Today I will tell you one of the most epic and emotional stories in cinema history, Braveheart. This film is not just a historical drama, it is a story about courage, freedom, and the unbreakable spirit of humanity. Directed by and starring Mel Gibson, Braveheart tells the story of William Wallace, a Scottish hero who led his people in a rebellion against English rule. If you've ever wondered what it means to fight for freedom or how one man's courage can inspire a nation, this is the story for you. Let's travel back to 13th century Scotland and uncover the legend of William Wallace. Braveheart was released in 1995 and quickly became very popular. Despite some historical mistakes, the film won the hearts of millions with its powerful story, exciting battle scenes, and unforgettable performances. It won 5 Academy Awards, including Best Picture and Best Director, making it one of the greatest films of all time. The movie's success comes not only from its big scale, but also from its deeply human story of love, loss, and the fight for justice. The film was directed by Mel Gibson, who also played the main character, William Wallace. Gibson's love for the project was clear in every scene as he carefully recreated the brutal but beautiful world of medieval Scotland. The screenplay was written by Randall Wallace, who was inspired by the legendary figure of William Wallace, though much of the story is a mix of history and myth. The film's amazing visuals were created by cinematographer John Toll, whose work earned him an Oscar. The beautiful music composed by James Horner perfectly matches the film's emotional depth and grand scale. Mel Gibson's performance as William Wallace is unforgettable. Wallace is a man driven by love and a strong belief in freedom. Gibson's acting shows both the strength and vulnerability of the character, making him a hero for all time. Alongside Gibson, Sophie Marceau gives a touching performance as Princess Isabella, the French-born wife of the English prince, who becomes an unlikely friend to Wallace. Patrick McGoohan is scary as King Edward I, also known as Longshanks, the cruel ruler of England, who will do anything to crush the Scottish rebellion. Brendan Gleeson as Wallace's loyal friend Hamish, and Angus MacFadyen as the conflicted Robert the Bruce complete the excellent cast. The film was shot in the Scotland and Ireland, with the wild landscapes providing a beautiful background to the story. The production team worked hard to recreate the medieval world, from the real-looking costumes to the detailed sets. The battle scenes, especially the Battle of Stirling Bridge, are some of the most exciting ever filmed. Thousands of extras were used to bring these big fights to life, and the result is a movie that feels both huge and personal. Now let's dive into the story of Braveheart. The story begins in the late 13th century, when Scotland is under the harsh rule of King Edward I of England. After the death of his father and brother in a rebellion against the English, young William Wallace is taken in by his uncle Argyle, who teaches him about the world. Years later, Wallace returns to his homeland, hoping to live a peaceful life. He reunites with his childhood love, Muran, and the two secretly marry to avoid the English law that allows nobles to take a bride on her wedding night. However, Wallace's dreams of peace are destroyed when Muran is killed by English soldiers after she resists them. Filled with grief and anger, Wallace starts a revolt against the English, calling the Scottish people to fight for their freedom. His first big victory comes at the Battle of Stirling Bridge, where his smart tactics and brave leadership lead to a great defeat for the English army. This victory inspires more Scots to join the rebellion, and Wallace becomes a symbol of hope and resistance. As the rebellion grows, Wallace faces not only the power of the English army, but also the betrayal of the Scottish nobles. Many of the nobles care more about their own power than fighting for freedom, and their betrayal becomes a big problem for Wallace. Despite these challenges, Wallace continues to fight, driven by his strong belief in freedom. His relationship with Princess Isabella adds another layer to the story. Though she is married to the English prince, Isabella is drawn to Wallace's courage and ideas, and she becomes an important ally in his fight. One of the most famous moments in the film is Wallace's speech before the Battle of Stirling Bridge. Standing in front of his outnumbered and scared army, he gives a powerful call to arms. Sons of Scotland, I am William Wallace, and I see a whole army of my countrymen here in defiance of tyranny. You have come to fight as free men, and free men you are. What will you do with that freedom? Will you fight? Fight and you may die. Run and you'll live, at least a while. And dying in your beds many years from now, would you be willing to trade all the days from this day to that for one chance, just one chance to come back here and tell our enemies that they may take our lives, but they will never take our freedom? This line, inspired by Shakespeare, shows the spirit of the film and has become one of the most famous quotes in movie history. It shows Wallace's ability to inspire others, even when the odds are against them. After many victories, Wallace faces his biggest challenge. The Scottish nobles, including Robert the Bruce, betray him. They make a secret deal with King Edward to protect their own power. Robert the Bruce is conflicted because he admires Wallace but feels pressured by his father and the other nobles. This betrayal leads to Wallace's defeat in the Battle of Falkirk. The English army uses powerful weapons, and the Scottish nobles abandon Wallace during the fight. Wallace loses many of his men and is forced to retreat. Wallace is heartbroken but does not give up. He continues to fight for freedom, even though he knows the nobles cannot be trusted. He takes revenge on the nobles who betrayed him, attacking their castles and showing them that he will not be stopped. However, the betrayal does not end. Robert the Bruce's father tricks Wallace into a meeting where he is captured by the English. Wallace is taken to London, where he is tried for treason and sentenced to a brutal death. Despite being tortured, Wallace refuses to give up. He is given a chance to ask for mercy, but he refuses. His final cry of freedom inspires everyone who sees it. His death is not in vain, as it encourages the Scottish people to keep fighting for independence. After Wallace's death, Robert the Bruce feels deep regret for his betrayal. He decides to honor Wallace's dream and leads the Scottish army to victory at the Battle of Bannockburn. As the Scots charge into battle, the spirit of William Wallace lives on, a symbol of the lasting power of freedom and the human spirit. The music of Braveheart, composed by James Horner, is an important part of the film's emotional impact. The music uses traditional Scottish instruments, like the bagpipes and fiddle, along with a big orchestra. Songs like Main Title and Freedom show the beauty and sadness of the story, while For the Love of a Princess captures the romantic moments between Wallace and Murron. The music makes the film feel even more epic and emotional. At its heart, Braveheart is a film about hope, the cost of freedom, and the strength of the human spirit. It reminds us that even in the darkest times, one person's courage can inspire a nation to fight for what is right. The film's themes of loyalty, sacrifice, and strength continue to touch people around the world, making it a timeless classic. If you enjoyed this journey through the story of Braveheart, please give this video a thumbs up, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel for more stories. Your support helps us bring more inspiring stories to life. Thank you for watching, and remember, every man dies, but not every man truly lives. Until next time.